All right. Well, in this episode of the Bigfoot Society podcast, we have the pleasure of having Mr. Seth Breedlove coming back and talking to us about the 2021 Kickstarter, specifically about the movies that are coming down the line. But we'll talk about the Kickstarter too, and how it's blown previous years out of the water. How are you feeling so far, Seth?
I
It's
didn't know
pretty
where that
wild, man.
sentence. I didn't know where that sentence was going. To be honest with you,
It's getting wild and crazy, kids. Um, I
I'm
mean, what,
good.
75K today, man?
Yeah, it's slightly over 75. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I think the every year it's like it's like weirdly surprising. I think last year was the first year where it was like where we were super stressed out, and because of that, I think we just like this was the first year where we didn't raise the goal over the previous year, so we
okay.
had like kind of like not doubled it, but each year we added maybe like 10 or 15 over the previous year. Some of that has to do with the fact that like each year we were adding more and more productions um over the previous year. Because if you think about, we started with Minerva in 2015. That was one production, and then the next year it was Boggy Creek Monster,
Mm,
and then it became Mothman and Invasion, and then Flatwoods Champ Bray, and then Terror Momo,
yeah.
um Terror Momo and Bigfoot, and then it became, so this year it's four productions. So each year it's um gone up, but this past year, like 2020 was the first year where we were genuinely, we had to wait like 3 days to hit the goal, which we weren't used to. So we just kind of stressed. So this year we were like, you know what, let's just leave it at the same goal. And
Yep.
then and within like 10 minutes of launching it, we had as
Yes.
much in pledges as we did in like 2016, the
Yeah.
entire Kickstarter in
It
10
was
minutes.
like what, 12K in 10 minutes or something.
I
It
think it
was
was
intense.
16. It was
16.
16K
Wow.
in 10 minutes. So
And
that was,
you had people like Lauren Coleman is one of the executive producers or producers. Is that his
yeah,
first year doing that?
yeah, that was
Yeah, that's awesome.
he's had involvement in previous Kickstarters, but I can't remember what it was exactly. He's never backed, I don't think they've ever backed at the executive level,
Yeah.
but it's cool to like, I just finished the opening credits for Bigfoot the Journey, and it was kind of cool to put Lauren's name
Oh
in the
man, it's
opening
just so cool. Yeah.
credits of
It
that.
just makes sense.
Yeah. So so yeah, I think everything's going really well. Honestly, the hardest thing right now is just figuring out like stretch rewards, because
Mm,
we've done, this is our seventh Kickstarter. So it's like,
oof.
how many times are you going to give away like stickers and
Yeah.
bumper stickers? But we haven't done a bumper sticker
Oh
really
man,
since Boggy, so it's actually been a while. um so we
that'd be
did
cool.
yeah, we're gonna do that on the trail of Small Town Monsters bumper sticker as a stretch reward. And then what was the other thing? Oh, the on the trail of logo pin. And then the third one is going to be, if we can hit 80K, we're going to do the season one of Case Files on DVD, and
Hmm.
that'll include the Kecksburg crash episode, which was always supposed to be like the season finale of Case Files, and then I just
Okay.
ran out of time to make it. We actually even
Oh
shot,
wow.
we interviewed a guy from Kecksburg, and this would have been like we were there filming final shots for Invasion. Invasion was already edited. We were at the Kecksburg UFO Festival, um, and we interviewed a guy named Ron Struble, who's like a Kecksburg witness.
Okay.
And we interviewed him specifically for this Case Files episode, and then we never made it. um, so we're gonna make that episode, and then that'll be part of the release plan. So
Nice. Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. That is so cool. Um, man, and I would assume everyone listening to this knows of Seth. Seth, of course, is, Small Town Monsters. There's also so much more to Small Town Monsters, but like, you think Seth and Mark, Small Town Monsters. And I mean, if you haven't checked out any of Seth's films that he just talked about, and you're listening to this, you're really doing yourself a disservice, and you need to go check some out. And I mean, you can, of course, buy a copy of on a DVD or Blu-ray on a Small Town Monsters website. You can also find them on different streaming sites currently, right, Seth?
Yeah, yeah. There's my wife is walking through the room like Patty right now, and it's if I if I could turn the camera.
Adrian is, I feel like Adrian is more hilarious than people know.
Yeah, she's
Like,
just
yeah.
she came creeping out of the door and then just
Oh, that's
walks through
funny.
the room.
That's
Um,
funny.
so yeah, what was the question? I'm sorry, she totally zoned
So
me out.
there's different places where you can
Oh yeah, yeah,
stream. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think the big lifeline we received this year was the distribution deals with 1091
Oh,
because
totally. Yeah.
Amazon every year makes it more and more difficult. And no one's talked about this, so I don't know if you've heard. IndieWire just did a big piece on it. Amazon's latest hit hit job on indie filmmakers is that they have actually made um, a declaration that they will no longer be distributing unsolicited
What?
nonfiction content. So,
Whoa.
documentary filmmaking
Wow.
independently distributed will no longer be welcome on Amazon, which a year ago would have been a death sentence for
Oh my
STM.
goodness. Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and now it's kind of forced us to really assess like how we're gonna re-release because some of the stuff like On the Trail of Hauntings and Beyond the Trail we were gonna cross post, to Amazon. So now we're
Okay.
kind of trying to figure out how we'll do that. Yeah, it's because of 1091. Our films are widely distributed now, so you can get them on all the major streaming platforms and VOD platforms and all that stuff.
I
And then
yeah.
we just locked a deal last week to distribute the Flatwoods Monster to A&E in the U. I
It's
don't
huge.
understand the deal, but it's like A&E owns a bunch of networks in the UK, but they don't actually have an A&E network in the UK, so I don't understand what's going on. But basically, I was told that um, like Sky TV and
Oh yeah, yeah,
Lifetime,
totally.
all these will have the Flatwoods Monster playing.
That's
So that's going to
amazing.
be they picked up a 36-month run of that. I don't know. The only thing about that that's weird to me is like of all the movies to pick up, they pick up the little 43-minute like no budget documentary from 3 years ago.
It's kind of weird, right? It's like, is there a big Flatwoods following over in the UK? Is like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Maybe there will be after this, but
I'm wondering, there's a Flatwoods in the UK. Because I've often been,
oh,
yeah, I've often
really?
had people ask me about that. So I'm wondering if they just misunderstood when they signed the
Could you
deal.
imagine? And they're like, "What? This is West Virginia?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. It's hard to say. But
Oh, that'd be funny.
yeah, and you mentioned Mark. Shout out to Mark wherever he is tonight. He's got some health issues.
I was talking to him earlier, man.
Yeah,
I feel his
so
pain, dude. Literally.
yeah, so
Yeah,
just keep him in your thoughts,
for
everyone.
real.
Is a vital part of what we do, and our biggest trip is yet to come. It's coming up here in April.
Oh man, I was thinking about that. Yeah.
We
Is he going on that, he was going to go on that trip?
So yeah, the trip he'll be there. I mean, unless
Okay.
something horrible happens. The trip is supposed to be. It's a strange crew, but it is massive.
Mm,
It's myself and my wife.
okay.
It's Aaron Gaskin and his wife. It's Mark and Andy, and then Alexander Pedikov and
Ugh.
Eli Watson are both
Eli,
gonna
yes,
go. So
dude.
it's gonna be and then we'll be out there. I'll be out there for 7 full days. Eli and Alex will be out there for like 4 or 5. And what they're doing, I don't know if I'm. We haven't talked at all about Alex's project yet, the Beyond the Trail thing. But
I mean, you can say
this,
whatever you want because you're the
yeah,
head of
yeah.
STM,
So
but
he's got
it's up
he's
to
got
you.
the pilot episode should be launching like not too. too far off. I mean, I would think sometime around the release of On the Trail of Bigfoot: The Journey, that'll come out, and it's just gonna
Okay.
be a free YouTube, immediately free to YouTube thing.
Oh wow.
He'll be in New Hampshire on that first episode, but for the what basically what Beyond the Trail of is going to act as is not only will he do his own sort of like bushcraft and Bigfoot stuff, but
Nice.
he'll be we're gonna tie in Beyond the Trail episodes to the films we're making. So like
Oh wow.
we're doing the Pacific Northwest thing. So he's gonna come out and do his Beyond the Trail thing out there while we're filming On the Trail of. So he'll be
Oh
camping out in
man.
the woods in the Olympic Peninsula and trying to keep Eli alive, I'm sure. And
Dude, I love this idea. This is so good. It
so
makes
yeah,
sense.
so they're gonna run concurrent with each other, and sort of, you'll get a bigger look at the full picture of what's going on, through Alex's Beyond the Trail of series. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, we have a ton of stuff. We haven't even announced. We're actually we start filming a series next week called Small Town Monsters, uh, Paranormal Unexplained, which
Oh, is
is
this the like watch the video thing
this is our
you were
video
thinking of?
react show.
Oh
And if
yes.
anyone has seen if anyone has seen Hauntings, On the Trail of Hauntings, like imagine the comedic side of that
Oh
show,
no.
like sort of just constant. This is probably where we'll make a lot of enemies, honestly.
Seth, you know that this show could probably get bigger than anything else you've made. Like that's the ironic thing
Yeah.
because that has like some real viral um possibilities. Like it could be really big.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, we got so Santino is basically like, Aaron was the first STM, basically like regular staffer, right? So he works in
Okay.
the office. He's in there 2 days a week. He's doing his job, which is editing. Santino's the next. So Santino is coming on
Oh
board,
wow. Nice.
um,
Nice.
pretty much starting now, and his job will be to really help, um, with the film side of things, but he is obviously directing and editing, Hauntings, and he'll also be sort of steering the ship with this show as well. And then he's taking full control of like effects on all of our projects going forward. So
Oh, that's
it's going to be a
amazing.
big year.
Oof.
We've got On the Trail of the Lake Michigan Mothman coming later in the year, and that'll be a YouTube thing as well.
Okay.
And then at some point we're supposed to start producing, sort of like micro budgeted documentaries that really take us back to the roots with like Beast of Whitehall,
Mm.
that style of filmmaking. And the first one of those is going to be a Rogues Hollow movie. And for anyone that
Oh,
follows Monstropolis, it's
amazing.
like a little little like abandoned coal mine town here in Ohio near where I live now, that's got all these local legends like this headless horse
Mm-hmm.
that the devil rides on, and Crybaby Bridge, one of the first Crybaby bridges in the country, and all this kind of stuff. So I really want to make like a basically like a no budget documentary about
Mm.
that place. And that'll be like a YouTube thing as well. So we're trying to really build out the YouTube stuff and turn that into a second avenue for us, but keep it sort of separated from the films. The films we just want to keep making bigger and better, and YouTube we want to be able to sort of return to the no budget roots that
Okay.
we started with.
So when you say YouTube stuff, I just want to get a clarification. Are you saying like those YouTube things are in the squad or they're specifically like free and clear in the YouTube space?
So it's going to be both. So
Okay.
squad will probably have On the Trail of projects. So if we're doing
Okay.
something On the Trail of, it's probably going to be squad. So On the Trail of Hauntings, um, I hope in the next year to launch On the Trail of Real Werewolves, which is dog
Whoa.
meat. Um,
Oh, oh,
and I
dude. Yeah,
really
totally.
and I
Yeah.
really want to do we really want to do like some sort of legends and lore, urban legend kind of
Oof.
exploration show. I don't know if that would be for YouTube under Haunting or under On the Trail of, or something else entirely.
Urban
Um,
legends, huh?
yeah,
Hmm.
so like Gateways to Hell, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, totally.
Crybaby Bridges and all
Yep,
that kind
yep.
of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those things will be under Squad, and we're making a big announcement um this coming week about Squad, because right now Squad has been kind of like sporadic. We post whenever Aaron's in the office, we just throw stuff up.
Sure.
So one of the things we're doing going forward is defining like this day this goes up, this day this goes up.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
that'll start with like that'll actually start next week. So Monsteropolis will be Mondays. Um,
Nice.
Tuesdays is Squadcast. Squadcast is going weekly. Um,
Oh wow.
so we'll do that on Tuesdays, and then sort of Wednesday, Thursday is the all that other ancillary content. So like the production diaries and uncut interviews and all that kind of stuff. And then Hauntings is going to be like the second Friday of each month. And then the Hauntings production diary goes up, I think third or the third Thursday, I think is how it works. It's kind of complicated. But basically what we don't want to do anymore is post the production diaries before the episodes of Hauntings, because it's giving away a lot of what's going
Oh
on
yeah, no, you're right. Yep.
in
Okay, that's
Hauntings.
smart. Yep, yep.
So yeah, so we're trying to put out um Hauntings will come out the second Friday, and then the next Friday, that's what it is. It's the
Yeah.
next Friday will be the other thing. And then before year's end. So what we're calling this phase of Squad is phase 1, because we have a phase 2 in mind. Um, we just want to get enough subscribers in there that we can afford it. And once we do that, then we're going
Mm-hmm.
to be launching more original series. So the whole
That's amazing.
goal of all this is to just keep growing the original series. But for free YouTube, Paranormal Unexplained is a free YouTube series.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Beyond the Trail is free YouTube. And then, which I think when people see what we're doing with Beyond the Trail, you're basically getting like a movie, like an STM movie for free on YouTube, is
That's
kind of like
amazing, dude.
the goal. So
Wow.
um and yeah, we just want to keep growing all that stuff. The Rogues Hollow documentary, those would all fall on under the Small Town Monsters Presents line. So like we have Minerva and Whitehall up free right now on there, the
Yep.
Whitehall director's cut. Um, we get the rights back next year to Boggy Creek Monster, Mothman and Point Pleasant, Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. Those will all go up
Oh wow.
under the same sort of thing. And I'll probably do director's cuts of all those as well at some
Awesome.
point here. Um, so once we do that, like all those will eventually be on YouTube as well. So yeah, I think what we
Man.
really want to do is turn YouTube into like a secondary home, for
Mm-hmm.
everything that isn't the feature films, and just grow the films and all this other stuff that we're making. And the other like Squad is very much like a peek behind the scenes of
Oh, totally.
STM.
Yep.
And so like the episodic content that's original, like Hauntings, that goes up on Squad exclusive, it's going to have that same kind of like you're getting a series or an episodic series, and you're getting a look at these various phenomena or whatever, but you're also getting a look at us, for better or worse. A lot of the times it's for worse.
It puts a whole different spin when you see the interact like um the production diaries for um the second On the Trail of UFOs was like that's some good content, man.
Mhm.
That's some cool stuff.
Yeah,
And
that was wonderful.
the Monsteropolis for Rogues Hollow,
Hmm.
because in the Squad you actually like edit in videos sometimes along with that, and like that Rogues Hollow is really really good with all that extra additional, like you and Mark walking through Rogues Hollow, you have stuff that you filmed there. It's really cool. It's a good
Yeah, I
stuff.
think the goal, one of the things we want to do with YouTube eventually, there's no plans for this in the immediate future, but like our dream is to do like a Monsteropolis road trip show
Oh
each
my
year.
goodness,
We've
don't you?
talked about it
Oh,
before, just going on the road for like a week and filming every day in like a different place.
that
And
would be
then,
amazing.
when we get back, you'd have like 7 episodes of that show to run, and it would be like seasonal or whatever. So we've talked about that before. Because Mark and I are together. I mean, of all my friends, other than Aaron, who I'm in an office with twice a week,
Right.
um, I'm with Mark more than anybody. Um, and we do like we just did this trip to Mammoth Cave, for with our sons.
Yep.
Um, and we recorded some Monsteropolis stuff while we were there as well. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff we want to do. Like we're just kind of getting going. And I mean, I she'd kill me if I said she knew I said this, and she probably will know I said it. But yeah,
Well, no one listens to this, so don't worry
formed
about it.
a we formed a we started a publishing arm of Small Town Monsters. So
What?
that's a whole other aspect to this that's going to start happening in the next year or two as well. The books
That's
are
awesome,
sort
dude.
of the next natural next step for what we're
Oh
doing.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense. I know that in one of your episodes you and Mark had talked about that. Yeah, it's the next, it's just, it makes sense that it happens.
Hmm.
That you just start cranking out amazing books. And it would be cool if you had like a road trip series where you hit different festivals. That could get really interesting.
That's actually a really good idea. Yeah.
Mm.
Homa, where we're going to be in
Where?
like Homa, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna be there in like 3 weeks. They do like a Rougarou festival, which I didn't
Oh,
even know
snap.
existed until like
Oof.
recently. So how many small towns do these weird like urban legend myths, festivals that you don't even know about?
Well, I can think of one, and listeners, you can guess where it is. It's in Van Meter, Iowa. Hey, that's the one mentioned for the episode. Um,
Plug.
so do you mind if we go through some audience listener questions?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, actually, before we do that, I don't want to forget. So who are gonna be the people that do like the paranormal show?
Yeah. So we're still figuring that out because
If it's Aaron, it's gonna be comedy.
yeah, no,
Just
Aaron's in
beyond
there.
belief. Yeah.
It's Aaron. See, I really want Mark to be involved in some capacity too, but I also
Mm-hmm.
feel like we need at least a couple of the ladies that are involved in STM. Heather's great because Heather is very like she's very like rational in her approach to things, and yet I feel like she really wants to believe, and she'll probably hear this and like
Mm,
kill me. um but
no,
and on
probably
the
not.
other hand, like Adrian is just wildly skeptical about everything, so
Oh,
like
really?
I feel
That's
like if we
funny.
could get them both on there it'd be great. But as of right now, I know that next week when we record, we're going to record like the first batch of episodes. I
Okay.
know it's going to be myself, Santino, Aaron, and Zach. Now I don't know. It's possible that like Mark might be involved if he's up for it. And it's possible Adrian might be involved too. So I'm not sure yet who all is
Oh
going to
man.
be there.
You could do stuff from YouTube, you could do stuff from TikTok. I mean,
Hmm.
you could do all sorts of, it's going to be crazy. But
Yeah, it should be fun.
um oh yeah. Here's some questions, and I will give you a heads up that these some of these are super troll questions. So just
Great.
be ready for anything,
I'm
okay?
excited. Yeah.
I know that you are just bubbling over. Okay, so Jacob from the Patreon, uh, awesome Jacob, says, when are we getting an STM blooper reel? And I want to know what you say, but I have a insight on this, I think, a little bit. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I would say On the Trail of Hauntings is a good blooper reel. Um, there's Man, I can't remember. Did I release a blooper reel for Momo? Because there's one out there. I've got
Hmm,
one made.
I can't
Um,
remember.
I don't know if I've ever released it. If not, we need to do that on
Oh, you
Squad.
need to do that right away. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
if
dude.
you guys saw the outtakes from the scene where Cliff and Bobo come rushing into the forest
Oh,
where the lights are spinning around, we had to do like a dozen takes on
I've
that.
always wanted to see. I knew that there were outtakes from that scene. I would
Yeah.
love to see those, man. You
Oh,
got to put them
there's
up.
outtakes from that whole night because like
Oh
Bobo
my
kept
goodness.
cracking us up because Bobo would make up lines. Like Bobo
Oof.
basically created the there's something on the hill, kill it. Like that was kind of like that was like his line on the spot. Some of that was in the script, but I can't remember. There's a couple. there were a couple ad-lib moments that were pretty hilarious that would like crack Cliff up because Cliff got like violently ill from that shoot because he
Oof.
was out there in the woods without a coat and it got real cold. And I
Oh,
mean,
man.
by the time the night was over, it was like 40 degrees out there, and he's out there
Oh,
with no
jeez.
coat on,
Oh,
filming for hours on end. Um,
all right.
but there was a lot of like laughter happening and outtakes and stuff.
Oh, I
So
bet.
yeah, definitely at some point we need to release a bunch of that stuff. There's a lot of it, but just from
Oh,
the recreations, there isn't like we don't have outtakes really on the docs that I can think
okay.
of.
There's no like Bell Witch wild and crazy outtakes, probably
I mean,
hilarious
there
laugh.
are
Yeah.
from the recreations, but not from like the documentary portion
Okay.
of but
Gotcha.
definitely recreations. There's gonna always be like tons of outtakes because like Zach gets really ridiculous in
Hmm.
scenes. Like I can remember we were filming a scene in Momo where the girls. Oh, it was in the picnic scene where the girls first see Momo and then he chases them to the car. And Zach is standing right next to the camera. And for no apparent reason, he just goes, is he going to get him? And like, we're like, what are you doing? Like, so
That's
there's
funny.
lots of stuff like that, like goofy stuff that happens behind the scenes that we should probably try to release at some
I
point.
love it. Another way, Jacob, to see stuff like that is if you are a member of the squad, the production diaries can get
Oh
pretty
yeah.
dang close to bloopers. There's some funny stuff in there.
Yeah, I would say like
Yeah.
the production diaries have gotten just I think they're just comedy. I don't really
Oh,
think
yeah.
I don't
Totally.
know that you could take those seriously. I'm trying to rack my brain thinking if there's any. I mean, there's serious moments. Like the cool thing about the production diaries is it really like shows you what it's like to be on one of these shoots. Most of the time it's ridiculous, but you do get really serious moments like when we were filming at like John Bell Jr.'s grave or whatever. Like there's very serious somber moments intermingled with complete
Mm,
bat crap insanity.
I'm trying to prepare myself for the next one.
Oh good.
Uh Mothman 46.
Oh no.
Yeah, here we
Roger.
go. Dang, I'm gonna have to edit that, aren't I? My source at IndieWire reports that on the trail of Abaguchi for 2022 is a thing. Can you confirm or deny?
I can't right now. I'm under an NDA on that
Okay,
particular title.
that makes sense.
So yeah, Mothman 46 has been people don't realize this, but this man has been part of STM going all the way back to the second Minerva Monster Day, where he
Oh my
actually hung
gosh.
around until like well after the event was over and helped us take down booths. And yeah, this dude is like one of my favorite. He comes to every screening at the Canton Palace Theater here.
Wow,
He was actually on the Dark Sky shoot
that's awesome.
for the final night at Dolly Sods. He's a good dude, funny guy.
That's good. I know that it's a thing where like um if you're in the cool kids club where you know what we're talking about when we talk about Mothman 46, you know that it's like you don't most people don't really know what Mothman 46 is. So let me know if I need to edit out like I don't know you saying Roger if that's a thing I need to edit out. You just let me know.
You know what? Like he
Yeah.
might get mad at me, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Oh my
I would
goodness,
really
then I'm gonna
I'd
get my
leave
butt kicked.
leave all of this in there. Like every if he gets mad about it, I'll just laugh.
Yeah, we'll see. I might take it out. We'll see. He made an amazing cornfoot graphic for me. It's like Bigfoot, but it's made out of corn.
Mhm.
It's the Iowa Bigfoot.
Nice.
Um, it's pretty solid. Michael Shang says, what is your favorite spot to film in West Virginia?
What a cool question. Um,
Mm,
like in terms of states we filmed in, I really think West Virginia is probably only second to Ohio for filming, just because like we filmed there so much between Flatwoods, Mothman, and Mothman. Um, I mean, we almost filmed the Bell Witch recreations in West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Originally it was originally we were going to rent a cabin there. But what a good question though. Wow. I mean, it's hard because like the state's so beautiful, and I'm not just saying this. Like I really think that state is
Mm-hmm.
unbelievably gorgeous. The I don't know. I guess I'll just go west or Point Pleasant because
Okay.
Tuendui, the little like park that sits on the right on the point, the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha. I say it wrong every time, so I don't care if any of you West Virginia people complain.
Right.
The Kanawha River, the confluence, it sits like right on the confluence. That's one of my favorite spots in the country. So I think I
Wow.
have to go Point Pleasant, but I mean, it's tough. Like the New River Gorge is beautiful. Um, I have really fond memories of this lake that sits outside of what is it, Parkersburg that we shot at.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I love West Virginia. I I I'm hoping we can do some like on the trail of stuff there in the next like year or two,
Oh,
like
dude, that
some
would be rocking.
yeah,
That'd
some
be
on the
amazing.
trail of Bigfoot stuff or something.
Um, Tactical Bigfoot research, which I've recently just become a fan of. This guy is solid. He's hanging out with us on Clubhouse now, which is that's the thing to do, Seth.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. So, anyways, he asked, where is the best place to get a burger on a Bigfoot expedition?
You know what? This is so
Is
Michael.
this a troll question?
No, it's not.
No? Okay.
It's if it's a troll question, it's a troll of him.
Ah,
So Michael was a part of the journey. He's in the
mm-hmm.
movie,
Yep.
and he was with us for the duration of the shoot. And I don't know if he would want me mentioning this, but he had a
Oh
very
my
serious health
goodness.
condition for the duration of the shoot. That that
Seth, how many things am I gonna have to edit out of this
No,
episode?
man, just leave it.
Okay. All right, cool.
I didn't say what it was, but let's just say if you're a man, it's not something you want to deal with, and he dealt with it while he was climbing a mountain.
Oh,
So
yikes.
he is a trooper. But he was with us.
Wow.
Yeah, he was with us for the duration of the shoot. And when you see the journey, day
Mm-hmm.
two is this hike up Mount Hadley, and it's
Yeah,
like
totally. Yeah.
it's a pretty intense moment in the movie, and it's kind of like really personal.
Mm,
That night after we were done climbing that mountain, we went to a restaurant that I adore, which is about,
okay.
I don't know, 60 minutes outside of Whitehall. I've driven there. I've driven like the round trip, like 2 hour drive just to eat burgers at this place. So
What?
my favorite burger in the world. It's called George Henry's. I probably
Okay.
shouldn't call him out because we're about to drop a bomb on him. But we
Oh
went.
my
So
goodness.
after the Mount Hadley climb, we went to George Henry's, and we were all piled in one car. We go there, we eat dinner, we ordered dinner. They had just opened up because
Mm-hmm.
the lockdowns. We were in New York State, keep in mind.
Oh
So the
yeah.
lockdowns were pretty intense. So like they had been closed for months. Like at this point, they had
Wow.
closed down in March. This was early July, like July 1st. And we're there, and they had just opened up. Um, Michael and Andy Matsky both ordered like fried chicken fingers
Okay.
and had both started eating the chicken before they realized it was completely raw. uh
Oh boy.
so
Mm,
they had a bad time with the chicken, but I'll tell you
okay.
guys, no joke, the best burger
But the burgers
you're
cooked to
ever gonna eat.
perfection.
You gotta
Cooked to
go
perfection.
gotta go to George Henry's. Just don't order the chicken fingers.
That is so good, man. I will definitely put that on the list. Do you remember what so you said that's 60 minutes out of Whitehall?
I think it's like 60 minutes because like to get back and
Okay.
forth, I think it took us like over 2 hours to get
Oh,
to
okay.
our
Okay, gotcha.
when we were staying there. We ate there. The first time we ate there was when I filmed. Anyone that has read Mark Matsky's history of Small Town Monsters, the Making Monsters book, knows this already. But like Beast of Whitehall was filmed twice. And the first time we filmed it, I was there with the guys that helped me make Minerva. And so that was the first time I ate there. And then when I came back and filmed Beast of Whitehall the second time, um, I took my dad and Brandon there, Brandon Dalo there for
Oh yeah,
dinner
totally.
at
Mm-hmm.
least one night. And then we went again when I came back for the premiere in April. And then I took, yeah, the guys there. So this was my like fourth or fifth. I think this was my fifth time there actually, because the first time when we were filming, I think I actually ate there twice.
That's amazing.
It's a great place.
Here comes some more. Bigfoot Anonymous says, "Has he been to the witches' ball in Valley City?" I don't know what that sentence means, Seth. So, do you know what it means? I'm guessing it's
Uh,
some haunted location.
I haven't. No,
Okay.
like anyone that's watching hauntings is aware that pretty much the STM crew are not ghost people. So
No,
we are being introduced to all of this as we go, and we're not really trying to hide the fact that none of us are ghost people. Like,
definitely not. Yeah.
uh, we don't know anything about it. We're finding our way as we go. Um, it's a lot of fun, man. I honestly like hauntings has been the most fun I've had on an STM project in a very, very long time, just for like sheer fun.
Hmm.
And I think that's because I'm not directing it, so I don't have
Okay.
to, my
Yeah.
job is to show up and film and make sure that everything's going smoothly. And Santino does the rest. So like
Mm-hmm.
for me it's really been like lighthearted and fun, and I get to explore some really cool locations.
That's
That's it.
awesome.
But no, I haven't been to the Witches
The
Ball. Is that what
witches' ball in Valley City.
I
I
don't even
will have
know.
to Google it.
Valley City.
Hmm.
Is that Ohio?
I'm gonna guess it is, but who knows? Um, Outcast at last username says, "What's your favorite 330 haunted location?" I think that's Ohio, right?
So Outcast at last I've hung out with. Yeah, he
Yeah,
came to
good old
a
Connor.
Willoughby. Yeah, he came to
Yep.
a screening at the Willoughby Hills Library a few years ago. Which I got in a big fight with like a librarian there, and
Oh my goodness, they
they've
won't let
asked
you go in anymore.
no, they've asked me to come back to speak, and I'm always just like, eh. But but anyway, favorite haunted location. This is actually really good because we've done three. Well, I guess 330. Geez, I don't know then, because like
Okay,
if we're just talking Ohio, I've got a few. You know what? 330 would still be Rogues Hollow because that's a
nice.
330. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely Rogues Hollow. I mean, honestly, in Ohio, Rogues Hollow is my favorite quote unquote haunted location just in general in the entire state. I just love that place.
Hmm. It looks like it would be really cool to visit. Definitely
It's
from that
strange
episode.
because it's like I've had people go there because we've talked about it and they're just like, well, there's nothing there. And I'm like, I know. I don't know why I love it so much, but if you learn the history of it when you
Hmm.
go there, you can kind of cast yourself back in time
Yeah.
and imagine what it was like, and you're picturing things in very specific ways. And I think that's the trick. You actually have to like know about the place before you go there to really appreciate it.
Awesome. Sarah from American Snallygaster Museum says, "Hey, have you ever thought of the Snallygaster? Uh, are you going to come to Maryland?" Paraphrase question.
Uh
It's a That's a weird cryptid, man. But Snallygaster Museum is they're going to be doing some cool stuff. Sarah's awesome. But
yeah, Sarah's cool. I met her at
oh, you
CryptidCon.
have? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I met her at
Nice.
CryptidCon a few years ago. So Snallygaster, I don't know enough about. I will tell you though, the Snallygaster, I don't know that people know about this. I don't know. I know I mentioned this show on Sasquatch, but I don't think I've talked about it in a long time.
Okay.
There was a show that I listened to, and I credit this show in a lot of ways with small town monsters even being a thing. It was
Whoa.
called Hometown Tales,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
and you can still find them on like on like the Apple podcast app. It was just these two dudes, and they would talk about urban legends and stuff relating to small
Hmm.
towns. And it wasn't necessarily like they talked about cryptids and whatever, but they talked about a lot of like silly things, like specific sandwiches that only existed in certain towns, or like food that only existed
Oh,
here, or
that
like
sounds legit.
cheer wine and stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um so that was kind of like my baptism into all this weirdness. And I do remember them talking about the snallygaster quite often on that show. So other than that, I haven't had much of an introduction to the snallygaster, but I am more than willing to come to Maryland anytime, because I love that friggin' state. I don't know why, but
Fantastic.
like Ocean City, I used to go to Ocean City. It's like it's like someone slapped a like crammed a Hollister ad into like Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just like this mashup of like awful things, but I still adore it because like they have really good French fries on the boardwalk. And there's this place in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, called, which is like right down the road, called Nikolai's, which is, in my opinion, the best pizza in the world.
Mm.
So anytime I can go to Maryland, I haven't been there in a couple of years. I went to Baltimore in 2018 and got to do a screening of Bray Road Beast in a haunted hotel. That
Oh
was pretty
wow.
cool. But that was my last
Nice.
time in Maryland, so I haven't got to be in Maryland much. So
It's
I would
about
love,
time.
yeah, I'd love to have an excuse
Yeah.
to go.
Squatch Watch BC says he looks like, this is more a comment, so you have to confirm or deny. He
Okay.
looks like a male model that also hunts down ancient artifacts and curates in a secret
No, I
museum.
mean
Confirm or
not
deny.
unless like male models weigh over 200 pounds and have like love handles that look like you swallowed like two watermelons.
Mm.
Yeah, no. Those days are long, long in my rear view at this
The
point.
ship has sailed.
Yeah,
Gotcha. All right.
that ship's gone.
Sorry, Squatch Watch.
Yeah.
Denied.
I appreciate it
Uh,
though. It's really nice. If you want to tell me I look like a male model, feel free.
there you go. Jamie Jenny, and I hope I'm saying the username right. What's your favorite part of filmmaking? The beginning, the middle, or the final piece?
Is that JAMI?
Yeah, he does amazing Bigfoot research, but I'm just not sure how to pronounce his username. But he's a
Yeah.
cool dude from what I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. They're cool. Jamie and Jenny,
Yeah,
I've hung out with
yeah.
them a couple times. They're cool people. Um what's my favorite what? Sorry.
Favorite part of filmmaking: the beginning, the middle, or the final piece? I guess maybe the completed piece.
That's a good question.
Mm,
Um because I you have you really have moments of like triumph during the editing process, because it's where I put the film together. Um, and I'm usually alone in the office when those
okay.
moments happen. And it's usually like very exciting to realize I
Mm,
hit on something that might work. Um, so those moments are great. You know, like I really love the process though of figuring out what a movie is going to be. Like that's where I'm at right now with Rougarou, is like,
okay.
because it's where I really get to be creative, where the creative stuff really comes into play. And I really toiled over that with like the Mark of the Bell Witch. Like I
Mm,
spent weeks trying to figure out like what the style and tone of that movie was going to be. And now I'm really glad I did, because when I watched the Mark of the Bell Witch, Santino and I were just talking about this. When I watched the Mark of the Bell Witch, it is so like focused. It never veers off into some other style. And there's a couple of our movies where that the same thing can't be said. Like people
mm,
love Bray Road Beast, and I think Bray Road Beast is a solid movie, but there is a little bit of like this weird jumping between styles that happens where you open with like this very like hammer horror type movie, like with the window and the book and everything,
okay.
but then you go into this movie that's like all jump cutting and very like modern in approach, and it's just kind of a weird, it just feels like the style isn't set necessarily. And
Mm,
Bellwitch, I don't think we ever, I think Bellwitch just feels very concise. Like it everything feels so specific.
It really
Um,
does. Yeah.
and so that's part of that is just the fact that I sit down and I like come up with all those plans for like how the film's going to look and how it's going to play out and feel. I mean, one of the I can't credit Heather Mosier enough with like her involvement in STM, because what she does is uh the research side of things now. So like
Mm.
and even with the last couple of movies, she started contacting people for me in
Oh
advance.
wow, that's
And what that
huge.
what that does is really like frees me up to solely focus on, okay, the
Yep.
creative side of the film.
Exactly.
And so like yeah, she's been great. Like she's really helping me with the Rougarou thing right now too. So I have to give her a lot of credit for if we continue having that same like Bell Witch might be like the door opening, as far as like, okay, every movie has such a specific feel and tone
Mm.
and everything all throughout. I would think a large part of that credit is going to end up going to her, because she puts me in a position where I can actually focus on that side of the filmmaking.
Yeah, from what I've like the interview you did with her was really interesting. She seems to have a really cool outlook on things,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
You picked up the Sony G. I'm just going to read it. Sony G Series FE 200 600 f 5.6 6.3 lens, right?
yeah.
Today or recently.
Yes.
Um, why are you so excited to have that for this coming year?
It's a super telephoto lens.
Mm-hmm.
With a teleconverter, which is, I actually rented a teleconverter when we shot Dark Sky. You basically have like a telescope. Like you're able to shoot. It goes from the teleconverter I rented doubled our focal range. So we went from 200 to 600 to 200 to 1200. So I was able to zoom and shoot close-ups of the moon.
Oh
Um
wow.
so it's like it's a super telephoto. But to explain why I love it so much, you'll just have to see it, the images, because like it's, I don't know how else to explain it. There, I was watching someone talk about this recently. There's a YouTube channel called Make Art Now.
Mm-hmm.
This guy named
Okay.
Joshio, and he was explaining why those telephoto lenses look so much better than like just a regular standard zoom lens. um Even if that standard zoom lens has like a similar focal range. Dude, this is so nerdy, people are just gonna tune out here, but like
Oh,
I own a
that's fine.
70.
They tuned out way long ago. Don't worry about it. Just keep
Right.
going, man.
Cool. Great. Yeah, I have a 70 to 350 zoom lens. Sony, and it's Sony too. So it's like the same line, and
Okay.
it's G series, but it's like one of these smaller like little lenses. It's more like a
Okay.
photography lens. The telephotos do something. There's something about the glass and like the inner workings, and it's like computer. There's an SSD in this lens. Whatever it is, it like smashes the background up. So like when you
Mm.
look at it, you're seeing like this foreground object, and then it just like the bokeh in the background goes off
Oh yeah. Sure.
in like really interesting ways. And when it doesn't necessarily work everywhere, but when you're shooting environments like we are usually, you're going to get amazing images out of that lens that don't look like anything else we shoot with. So and the only way I'm able to tell you is when you get to Bigfoot the Journey,
Okay.
you'll see like a close up of a pine tree,
Mm.
and then off in the distance, like a mile away, you're able to see like some house sitting somewhere,
Oh wow.
just smashed down into this little like, not indistinguishable, it's distinguishable, but it's this weird like out of focus thing that really like it puts you in that place in a way that our other lenses and other equipment we shoot with doesn't manage to do. So
I'm excited.
I've wanted that lens forever. Well,
Yeah.
not forever, but since we shot Bigfoot the Journey, and I finally just bid on it because I knew I keep renting it, and you get to a point with renting this stuff where it just becomes cheaper, or it makes
Mm-hmm.
more sense to buy it because you're spending so much money renting it. So that's where we're at.
Gotcha. Um, do you have some time to talk about the on the trail Bigfoot the Discovery?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. because so for people that might not know, so you've already filmed the journey already. That
Yes.
took place in the Adirondacks of New York.
Yeah.
You've already
Do you want to
filmed
watch it?
right now.
I'll send it to you as soon as we're done.
I mean, I'm totally, dude.
I
That would be
literally did
amazing.
the final exports today on it.
Yeah,
So
that would be like the coolest thing ever, man. Thank you. Um, mm,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, that's fine. Like, ooh, watch the movie. So you've already filmed on the trail of UFOs,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, yeah.
Because
Now we're filming
yeah.
another one before the end of the year.
Okay, that's where I get confused. I'm like, you guys are doing so much stuff. It is nuts. It's like
Yeah,
amazing. It's
yeah,
the best
it's
content, but
crazy.
it's like keeping it all straight. I don't know how you do it, man.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
hard.
so there's another one.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. But the thing that really has me when I'm reading through like on the trail of Bigfoot the Discovery, there was a blurb that you had written up on Facebook. And then it's like I had this realization because it's like, oh, he's going out to the Pacific Northwest and he's hanging out with the Olympic Project.
yeah.
So then I'm like, does that mean that there's going to be amazing like so I want to ask questions and you can just shut me down. That's
That's
fine.
cool. Yeah, yeah,
Um so my question is like are you getting access to the nests?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
from what I've been told,
Wow.
and I think this is okay for me to say, but like as far as I know, they've turned down pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Um, I've
Yeah.
been I they had told me of some productions that they had turned down, but Shane, I was on the phone with Shane for like a half hour today, and actually Alex just texted me, and that's about a phone call he had with Shane like 5 minutes ago. But as far
Mhm.
as I know, we have full access to the nest site.
Oh
We're
wow.
spending 2 days there at site or at the nest site for at least 2 days.
Wow.
And then we'll be back at the OP headquarters for at least 2 days. This is their movie. Like I don't really know how else to. I told
Mm.
Shane today, like on the trail of Bigfoot, the journey is our movie. It's my movie. It's Mark's movie. It's a movie about us taking this trip to the Adirondacks. Um, on the trail of Bigfoot, the Discovery is the Olympic Projects movie. So
That's
it's not,
amazing.
it's not going to be about. I mean, it'll be about our trip out there, but it's not about that in the way that the journey is about our trip to the Adirondacks. This is not about STM goes to the Olympic Peninsula. Um,
Okay.
I really want it to be about that group and how they do their research and conduct their research, and then about the history of the area,
Oh
and I,
my goodness.
and and me and Mark and my crew are basically there to tell that story. Like we're going to be featured in it. It's an on the trail of, so
Mhm.
we're going to be part of it, but it is not our story.
That is so I was kind of wondering like what the viewpoint you're going to take during that one and that really clears stuff up. Um so thinking about let's think back when Seth is writing his blog and before he starts doing episodes of Sasquatch with Mark Madsky. And if you could go back and tell Seth then what you're doing now, how would that Seth react? What do you think?
It's funny. I don't know because I thought of
Yeah.
this today.
Okay.
We're at a weird place, and this is probably going to get more emotional than I intended it to, but we're at a
Okay.
weird place with SDM where we've been around now for, we've been doing this for 6 years, which doesn't seem like a lot of time, but in 6 years, you know, we have a kid who's now approaching
Mm,
4 years old.
yeah.
Um, my mom, when I started doing this, my mom used to help us run our booth at events. Like there's
Mm,
pictures of my mom helping me run our booth at events, and my mom's health has completely deteriorated,
yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
she's battling cancer now.
Mm,
And like even things like what's going on with Mark right now, it like gives me that sounds terrible because it sounds like I'm giving Mark a death sentence, but like it just gives me like an appreciation that this is there's a finite amount of time that we will have to do this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And 6 years ago when I was writing about this stuff on blogs and all that kind of stuff, um I was a guy who was completely miserable in what I did, who couldn't wait to find something I didn't hate to do
Oh, that's
um
right. Yeah.
for a
Right.
living. And so
Yeah.
like I think that's I don't even know if that Seth would have
Mm.
actually honestly that Seth probably would have believed it. I was dumb enough that I started this thing and had the like stupidity in me to do it. Um but yeah, the I think it'd be happy. I wish I could tell that Seth to appreciate every moment of it a little more. The crew always
Oh,
talks about
that's crazy. Yes, that hits me hard, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the crew talks about how stressed out I was when we filmed Boggy
Mm-hmm.
Creek Monster, and they all think really fondly of Boggy
Yeah.
Creek Monster. Um, it was this, it was this really, it was a formative moment for Andy. Andy was a little kid at
Yeah.
the time, and Mark, it was like one of his and Andy's big father son trips. And it was Jason's first time working with the crew and everything. And there's all
Mm.
these like, they have such fond memories of that trip. And all I think about is like having a migraine literally every day
Oh,
because I was
that's right.
driving
Yeah.
myself crazy,
Yeah.
just stressing out trying to make the movie. And so if I could go back, because I'm not that way anymore, really. I
Oh.
get a little stressed out. I can get a little stressed out, but I think I'm way more relaxed than I was back then. And so
Hmm.
if I could go back, I would tell that Seth to just like chill out and try to enjoy the moment a little bit more than I did. I don't know when that change happened, but it definitely
I was
I
gonna
wish it
ask,
had
what do you
happened
think?
sooner.
What do you think? Why are you so more relaxed now than you used to be?
I really I don't
You had no
know.
idea.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It happened when we were making Mothman, and then it
Hmm.
just like gradually has gotten to where it is today. You also like the reality of what we do. The reality of what we do in some ways over. I don't know how to explain that. The reality of what we do over time. It it would seem like the reality of what we do. Let me think of how to put this. The reality of what we do is not as it's not romantic like people think this must
Okay.
be a really like a romanticized way of life, and it isn't. Like you're like what we do is super stressful, and when you're on the shoot it's a very it's work. It's like it
Hmm.
becomes work. But I think early on maybe the like romanticism, my romanticized version of what a director was supposed to do contributed to me being stressed out all the time, because I
Oh,
was like I have
interesting.
to be like on top of all this stuff. I have to, rather than just letting the creative process sort of take hold and do its thing. I might have been trying to control things too much. And so I know around Mothman, and by the way, I sound congested because like Adrian and I are just getting we're like 2 weeks past COVID, but like we still both are we're like super
Oh,
congested.
snap. Oh,
um
I'm glad you're okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the during Mothman, I something happened during that shoot where we were basically like this might be the last movie we make, because
Wow.
we weren't making it. And
Hmm.
we knew we were going to have Tommy, so it was like
Oh, yeah.
she was pregnant. She found out she was pregnant right before we released Boggy Creek, and I was like, like I want to make sure I can take care of my family.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this might be the end of doing this full time. I
Wow.
wasn't really doing it full time. I was doing it part time, but it was still like it ate up a ton of my life. And I was like, this might be the last time we do it. So I'm really just going to enjoy it. And like, we're really going to try to make a great movie and just have fun doing it. And then the movie came out and made tons of money, and enough money that it was, we were
Hmm.
able to, not tons of money. Please, listeners, don't
Yeah,
tell
guys. tons of money.
Yeah,
So,
Rolls Royces.
we're talking Scrooge McDuck
Yeah,
in the bin at Duckburg. So,
yeah.
this is
So
all
so yeah,
sarcastic, guys.
it was just a there was during the making of that movie is when the change happened, and then I think gradually it just has gotten better.
Okay.
Um, and like Zach and Jason will tell me I'm way more chill now than I was when we shot Boggy. I mean, I'm Boggy. I screamed at someone. I
Oh,
screamed at literally every single person on the crew, and that would include Andy. At some point on that
oh
trip,
no.
everyone
Oh
was
no.
yelled at. And honestly,
So
it's
go
like
ahead.
it's the worst way to like direct a movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I'm talking about is like your romanticized version of like what a film director is.
Hmm.
Mine anyway was like that Alfred Hitchcock or like Stanley Kubrick type who's just like a general who's gonna like get
Yep.
his army in order at all costs. And
Mm.
yeah, that doesn't work, and creates a work environment, or I mean, calling it a work environment is kind of weird. It creates an environment that's just not like conducive to
Okay.
creativity. And so once we got out of that movie and I started like calming down,
Yeah.
that was when I think we've started hitting like the creative high peaks. And the one, the exception to all of that is Beast of Whitehall. For the most part, I was pretty chill, but also Beast of Whitehall, it was pretty much a one man crew as far as like who was filming. Like Brandon was there to catch audio, and my dad was there to hold a
Oh my
reflector.
goodness. Wow.
But um, but like I shot that whole movie, so that I was a little more chill on that movie because there was no one for me to yell at the time.
And it sounds from multiple different things you've done that Boggy was a very, very stressful and taxing movie. Extremely so.
Yeah, Boggy
Yeah.
was yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of variables. So Boggy was we thought that Boggy would be the breakout movie. And
Okay.
so I took a lot of pressure upon myself that probably didn't need to be there. Um, because I found that like when the way we approached Mothman, which should have been the movie where I was like, this could be our breakout movie. Instead, like I brought all that stress to Boggy. Um, you don't you just gotta make a movie. You can't think about like what the stakes are. You just have to you just have to tell the best story you
Gotcha.
can tell, and you
Gotcha.
do that in the best way you can do it. And most of the time that means being as relaxed and kind and caring with your crew as you can be in what is a very stressful
Mm,
situation. Because as
yeah.
fun as this stuff is, especially back then before we had any of it figured out, it can be really overwhelming for people who are just coming on to a shoot for the first time. And
Interesting.
it'll
Interesting.
throw every shoot is different and each one throws curveballs at you, but that one, even now when I'm looking at it in the past, it's like, yeah, I see why we were so stressed out, because it was like we were doing something none of us had done. Zach had never DP'd a movie.
Oh wow.
Um, so that was his first time DPing on an STM production, and he was doing it on a movie where he had a crew of like 11. There were too many people there, is the other thing. Like the
Okay.
crew was just way out of control, like large. Not the STM crew, but we had a lot of people just kind of like following us around and part of the group who were just kind of there to watch us, and it
Sure.
just added another layer of stress. So
Man.
there's just a lot with that production that really overwhelmed me especially, but I think at some point everyone got a little overwhelmed. Like I remember Aaron almost collapsing on the final day of shooting because
What? What?
he hadn't drank any
Oh
water. And
no.
so it's like
Oh,
90
Aaron.
degrees,
Oof.
and you can see it. It's in the production diaries that were like part of that original DVD, he's like, we're like joking around about him eating a granola bar after I had told him to drink water, and it's because like
Yeah.
he almost collapsed.
Oh my goodness.
And the first day down there, Jason stepped over a copperhead like without realizing it,
Whoa.
just walked over
Whoa.
one. So there was constantly like something going wrong or something wanting to kill us, and you know like Lyle was like actively involved in that shoot, you know,
Okay. Yep.
and
Yep.
that was a little stressful because he had something very specific he wanted the movie to be, and it wasn't necessarily the same thing I wanted the movie to be. So we both had these like warring kind of ideas that were going on as to what Boggy Creek Monster should be. And so there was some tension in that way too.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it was a really stressful shoot. We haven't in terms of the documentaries, we haven't come close to that on any of the others.
But you and Lyle are cool, right? You're cool
Oh yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not it wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't tension in a way that we weren't getting along. It was that like
Right.
we both had
Right.
very specific ideas about what
Mm-hmm.
we wanted the movie to be, and at times they were at odds.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Wow. Um, reminded me of one other question. To bring it back to the Kickstarter. Greg from the Patreon says, "What if there was a well, paraphrase? What if there is a stretch goal of amazing fedoras?"
Yeah,
Yeah, probably not. No.
dude, this fedora thing has got people with
Oh
like
no, no.
people with like cowboy hats and stuff. Everyone's got to calm down with the hats,
You're,
the cryptozoologist hats.
oh my
Don't get me
goodness.
started.
Oh no. Yeah.
Hey, I've got a beanie though, so I can't really talk because like I wear this beanie that I really only wear on shoots. I rarely wear it unless I'm on a shoot. I wear this like red beanie,
Oh,
and
nice.
I wore it in the final episode of On the Trail of UFOs during a very important talk with Shannon LeGros up at Griffith Observatory. It's kind of like the
Oh, cool.
summation moment
Okay.
for the entire series. And we're talking up at Griffith Observatory, and I'm wearing this outfit that's like cargo shorts and a shirt and another shirt over
Nice.
the shirt. And then
Nice.
I got like this beanie on. And Byron, my buddy Byron from Fright
Mm-hmm.
Day, the Fright Day podcast,
Okay.
told me I straight up look like a drug dealer. So
Super 90s drug dealer. All right.
yeah, 90s. Yeah, I just singing some Offspring. I was listening to the movie Go soundtrack.
Ooh,
Do you remember that
nice.
movie?
I remember the Offspring, but not Go, man.
Dude,
I'm gonna
Go
have to
was a
check it
great
out
movie.
though.
Is that Doug Lyman movie? Doug Lyman who made like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, okay. Well, I know Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, Lyman had this like weird he was like a really good director. I don't he's still around, but the movie Go is great. No one doesn't get enough play. It's kind of like rave culture. It's a good
Ooh,
movie.
that's
Highly
pretty
recommended.
specific. Rave culture. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have Shannon on in a few weeks. That'll be fun. I've been trying to interview her for about a year and a half, so I'm
Yeah,
excited for
what
that.
the heck? I thought like last time I was on, you were talking about how she was going to come on.
Well, stuff happened, and
Yeah,
then you know,
yeah.
it's cool. But dude, oh, and I'm gonna interview Dr. Meldrum, so that's amazing as well.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah, yeah,
rock and roll.
yeah. He's
Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about Star Trek.
talk about Mormonism.
That's cool too. I know that's his religion, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's him.
Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't making fun. I was
No, I know,
genuinely
I know,
throwing that
I
out
know.
there.
Yeah, exactly. um,
Or
thank you
was
for
I
coming on,
making
Seth.
fun? Yeah, yeah. No.
Oh, this episode is gonna be Swiss cheese by the time I'm done editing. Oh man, always fun to have you on, dude.
Yeah.
Can you? Oh man, this. What's the summary of ways that people can follow you? You got so many
Um
things going on.
yeah, YouTube. I don't
Okay.
know the channel URL. I can't remember it. It's like
Just look up Small
slash.
Town Monsters
Yeah,
or
it's
something. Yeah.
just search it on YouTube. You can join Small Town Monster Squad on there, and that's how you'll get access to hauntings. You can go to smalltownmonsters.com. You can go to Facebook. Just go to Facebook and look us up on there. We're on Twitter. We have a group and pages on Facebook. And we're on Instagram, and we're over 10,000. We finally got over 10,000 followers on Instagram, so that
Good
was
for you.
exciting.
That's hard to do. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we made that uh goal. And now you can also find us on Kickstarter. So look us up on Kickstarter. I think that kind of covers it. Go look if you want to watch our movies, just look up Small Town Monsters or Seth Breedlove on pretty much any streaming platform. You're gonna find at least a few.
Even
Not
the Tubi app. You
Yeah,
guys are even on the Tubi
Tubi
app.
has a ton from what I've
Dude,
heard.
like 30 Bigfoot movies, even In Search of Bigfoot with Robert W. Morgan, which is the bomb, dude.
I just talked about that movie somewhere. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I was on
it's on
Sean Forker's
Monsteropolis.
well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
was on Sean Forker's show and I was talking about that movie.
Oh,
That's
nice.
my favorite. That's become like my favorite Bigfoot doc. Um
That's so good.
yeah, it's a great movie.
Oh my goodness.
If you like that movie, the Port Chatham Harry Man movie reminds me of it.
Oh, I didn't know there's a movie about that. Port
Yeah,
Chatham.
it's my
Really?
buddy Larry Beans Baxter is in it.
Okay.
Um it's a it might just be called the Port Chatham Harry Man, but yeah, look it up. It
Yeah.
was on Amazon Prime for a long
Okay.
time. Pretty good.
Awesome. So, listeners, again, the Kickstarter goal has been reached, but let's take it over the top like Sylvester Stallone does in that amazing arm wrestling movie. Just go
Mhm.
bam. You got to see it in the YouTube. But yeah, 75,000 as of February 18th. Let's take it over 100K. Let's do it. Let's get some fedoras for the stretch goal. No, it's not going to happen, but
Uh, we'll think
Seth,
about
are
it.
you still cool with what?
We'll think about it. I
We'll
said,
think about it. All right. Seth, are you still cool for staying a few minutes
yeah,
afterwards? All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool. So Seth is gonna hang out for a few more minutes to talk some for the Patreon portion of the show. If you want to hear that, you can go to patreon.com/Bigfoot Society, $5 to support the podcast. But thanks so much for coming on, Seth. Always a pleasure. And thanks as always for listening, listeners. Have a great night.